Good morning, madam. My name is Elisabetthina Sitepu. I am from Class B English 3. This is my final project video for English for tour operations. The country that I choose for my tour operations is Australia. So without any further ado, I will start the explanation. This is the table of contents of what I will explain later. There is travel documents required, custom regulations, immigration regulations, and last, cabin or baggage regulations. But before that, I will explain just a little bit about Australia. Australia is the only country in the world that covers an entire continent. It is one of the largest countries on Earth, which lying between the Pacific and Indian Oceans in the southern hemisphere. Australia's capital is Canberra, not Melbourne or Sydney, just like what most of people think. Australia has spectacular natural environment, multicultural communities, excellent food and wine, its weather and the lifestyle and openness and friendliness of its people, making it one of the world's most attractive tourist destination. It's no surprise then that over 6 million people visited Australia from abroad, staying a total of 236 million nights and spending over 33 billion in 2015. Travel documents required. To enter or live in Australia, there is a couple necessarily travel documents, which is like valid passport, valid visa, and a completed and signed incoming passenger card or IPC. First is valid passport. It is not a mandatory requirement of the Australian Department of Immigration and Border Protection, DIBP, that a foreign national entering Australia has a passport valid for at least 6 months. It is only a recommendation. However, the IBP recommends at least for the non-citizens who wants to enter or live in Australia at least have a valid passport, valid Australian visa, or when they on their date of entry to Australia. If you go to Australia through a third country, which has absolutely different rules, of course, you need to prepare it beforehand. One page empty for the stamp, and the valid passport is the valid on the entry time. Next is valid visa. There's a lot of types of visas in Australia. There's like working holiday visa, business visa, and tourist visa. There's also visitor visa. The visa that I take for this video is visitor visa. The requirement to get it, you must intend to come to Australia to visit only, have enough money for your stay in Australia, but also not too much, not work in Australia, and you must be outside of Australia when you apply and when the government decides your visa. How to make it? First, from the point of view of Indonesian citizen, bring the requirement documents to make an Australian visa to AVAC. AVAC office is located in Jakarta and in Bali. You can also do it online through your IMI account, which you can register in imi.gov.au. The second step is you need to pay. The payment is via rupiah. The range to get an Australian visa is around 190 Australian dollars or around 1.8 million rupiah. The last step is you will receiving a visa through your email. IPC, Identified Person Card, is a document providing passenger identification and an effective record of a person's entry to Australia. An incoming passenger card is to be completed by passengers while they are on board on their flight or ship before arrival or by the Australian Border Force in the arrival terminal. IPC is also can be as declaration to characteristics and health requirements for non-citizen to enter Australia. Next is immigration regulations. The Australian law that I take to explain about immigration regulations is Section 206 of the Immigration Act 1958 and PIC, Person in Charge of 4013 and 4014. The first that I will explain is Section 206 of the Migration Act 1958, deportation order to be executed, where the minister has made an order for the deportation of a person, that person shall be deported accordingly. The validity of an order for the deportation of a person shall not be affected by any delay in the execution of that order. PIC 4013, about 3 years ban on visa. A tourist will get 3 years ban on visa from Australia if they giving incorrect information, not satisfied with your identity, giving incorrect information to an authorized person or authorized system, or the minister or person named in the Act for the grant of your current visa. Your visa will get cancelled under Section 116 while you are offshore. You must not stay more than 12 months in any period of that 18 months. PIC 4014, about immigration status before departing. You may be affected by a 3-year ban on visa if you left Australia as an unlawful non-citizen or you were in Australia without a valid visa, holding a bridging C or bridging D or bridging E visa. But you can get a little bit of time on the card if you left Australia in 28 days after your visa expired. There is still a little bit of consideration in there. Next is custom regulations. To enter Australia, there is a couple of goods that are prohibited. First thing first, knives or weapons, which is obviously there's things like nunchaku, paintball firearms, guns, grenade that is prohibited. Electric shock devices, means fake designer goods, illegal pornography, toy who looks like weapons, live plants, live animals, and pepper spray. There's also a couple of things who need permit or get declared by the government, like all products containing nuts, preserved fruits and vegetables, raki or rakshabandan, who is like a seed of flowers or trees, a preserved seed, she sells sand, rocks, or fossils, sedatives and medicines, animal horns, teeth, and bones, and also feathers, and etc. There is cabin and baggage regulations on the Australian airlines with flight from Indonesia to Australia. Dangerous goods, which is obvious, like knife, weapon, taser, and etc. There's also lighters and matches. Like we all know, it is prohibited for you to smoke on the plane as it can cause the alarm of emergency ring and it could even burn the plane. Next is nuisance items. Nuisance items is items that are really not necessarily for you to bring on the plane. Like it's not prohibited, but it's just not necessarily good. For example, like a bed for your kids, your infant. If you make it in front of you so you can see your infant, it can make the seat in front of you cannot relax themselves. So it's such a nuisance. There's also certain foods like nuts, which is actually a lot of people get allergic to, and also durian, who its smell is making couple of person uncomfortable. There's also liquids, aerosols, gels, and powders. If you put it in baggage, it could explode because of the differences temperatures. So it's really dangerous. Well, I think that's all that I can and I need to explain to you, madam. If there's any mistake from what I do and from what I said, I said sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you for your attention. Bye bye.